Hello everyone, this is Quiversee, and welcome back to some more Bloodborne. Now, I gotta be honest, I originally wasn't planning on making this into a recording session. I was originally going to do a little bit of off-screen grinding. But turns out I had a little bit more time tonight, and, well, I was looking through my items before I started this, and something just kind of got me really curious. The Pthumeru Chalice. That's the dungeon we went through before. And I can't help but notice that we have that, the Central Pthumeru, and the Pthumeru Root Chalice. Now, the Pthumeru and Central Pthumeru say shared fixed dungeon, whereas the Root one doesn't. And I'm now noticing, if you read the Central Pthumeru Chalice description, only a Root Chalice changes the shape of the old labyrinth when used in a ritual. Which means when I did this dungeon before, I was mistaken when I said that it takes you to... It's like randomly generated, as I thought. As it turns out, it's a fixed dungeon. And the Root Chalice we got there takes us to a procedurally generated one. The reason I'm bringing all this up, excuse me, is because I, like I said, wanted to get a little bit of grinding done before I go delving a little bit further into some of the other stuff. And I could just go on my usual grind spots, or I could try out some of these other chalice dungeons. And now that I know that non-root chalices give you fixed dungeons, I'm really curious about this central one. But I don't have the materials to use it, and looking back at my footage, as far as I can tell, the only place I've gotten it was in the Central Pthumeru dungeon. As such, I'm going to make a Root Chalice dungeon and see how it goes. I'm not going to show the entire thing, but basically if I come across anything new or interesting, or, you know, if I die, of course, when I die, let's be real, I'll be sure to show it. So I figured, why not? And who knows, if I get the materials I need, I, might be able to go into a Central Pthumeru dungeon and see how that goes. Because I am very curious. Here we go. Oh, it's a coffin. Very nice item. Uncanny saw cleaver? Ooh. I'll check that in a minute. I want to take a look at the rest of this room, but... Okay, no, there's nothing else in here. What the heck is an uncanny saw cleaver? I mean, it's obviously a weapon, but... how does it differ? It's the same. Has the same stats, same attributes, same descript. Oh, wait! No, 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 no! I see the difference! It's the blood gems. The third blood gem. The shape is different. It's kind of hard to tell because it's dark on dark, but... interesting. So I can get variants of weapons doing this that can fit different types of blood gems. I mean, the saw cleaver itself doesn't really matter to me because I don't really use it, but I'm glad I got that, if nothing else, to learn that tidbit of information. Cool. There's the lamps. There's the door. Open the door. What could the boss be? I hope it's something different. I don't really want to fight the undead Higante again. Oh, it's the Merciless Watchers! Man, these things are easy. I had to open my big trap, didn't I? Alright, that's two. Ah! Dang it. Alright, to Nitrous! Smite them! Prey slaughtered. Super easy. And I get a blood gemstone. Okay, well, the prizes aren't that great, but, still would rather get that easy boss and get a, prize fitting for its difficulty than have to fight the Undead Giant again. Watch as the Undead Giant is boss 2. I just remembered. That means I might have to fight the Hellhound again as boss 3. Alright, boss time! Put on the great sword. What's the boss? Oh, it's a new one! A man-eater boar! It's a big pig! Wait. So it's just a beefier big pig? Oh, he gave me a horse kick there. What you doing, big pig? I am very surprised that they made this a boss. Like, this is... I mean, I guess I'm calling it underwhelming, but it's harder... It's harder than the, Watchmen, and it did kill me, so I'll give it that. I mean, the big pigs are only easy because I'm able to kill them in a few hits, and, you know, I stagger them with the big sword. So, when you take away the fact that they die before I run out of stamina, they actually are a bit of a threat. Alright. Time to go carve a pig. Stamina charge. Yo. Okay, don't take any chances. And no more big pig. All right, got a gemstone and a bloodstone shard. Cool. Well, I'm glad to at least see that the bosses can be different. On to the third floor. Alright, time for the third boss of this version of the Pthumeru Root Dungeon. As soon as I make it through this long hallway. I am scared of what it could be. It's an undead giant with a cannon! If the cannon is anything like that, it's gonna be worth it. Just from spectacle. Woo! Somehow this undead giant seems easier than the first one I fought. I think it's because of his weapon being slower. I don't know, am I crazy? Or is his weapon just, like, much slower? Either way, visceral attack! Yeah! Cut him down! That felt good. That felt really good. Well, I didn't quite go out of my way to explore every single thing, but I found a couple of interesting items at least. Nothing too spectacular, and this proved to be a pretty good source of echoes, vials, and quicksilver bullets. As it is, I've been going for about 45 minutes grand total. But more importantly, I've got the materials now to create the Central Pthumeru. Oh, so hang on, what are the other tabs? Hintertomb, Lauren, is... Interesting. So I guess those are other versions of dungeon. At any rate, I'm just going to go on ahead and conduct this ritual here. And this is supposed to be a fixed dungeon. What are those, like... Are those messengers over there on the right? Like, I see 5 of them. And I noticed that when I was over... Every time I went to this one, I would only see 1. This concerns me. But regardless, I am going to give this a shot. And yeah, since this is supposed to be a fixed dungeon, we're going through this whole thing together. Here we go. Central Pthumeru Labyrinth, Layer 1. Light that first lamp. You know, one thing I noticed about the root dungeon was that it would always... Every floor started the same way. It started with the lamp, and then this hallway which leads to the door with the yellow lamps, and then a side room. And every time I went through the side room, it always just seemed to be a self-contained loop that had a little bit of treasure in it. Whereas the central door would then lead you to the lamp for that layer, and then the path that leads you to the lever and boss. Excuse me? I was discussing things! I didn't really, like, mention anything about it while I was doing it, so that's why I'm mentioning it now, because it just, like... It didn't really click in my head until there, when I noticed the side path wasn't there. And I guess that makes sense. That is something that only exists in the randomly generated ones, because you would only go there for treasure. So it makes sense to, you know, give a little more space for treasure. And that's actually why I decided not to dismantle the root dungeon that I had created, because I might go back in there on some of my own time later and check out the side paths I didn't check, which basically means there's a couple of rooms on the second layer and the entirety of the side branch on the third layer that I did not check. So, yeah, just something I thought was worth pointing out. Either way, enemies here seem to be the same kinds that I was dealing with, but... Ooh, nice. 2 Ritual 2 Bloods. I mean, they're like the same kind of enemies I was dealing with in there, but definitely feel like they're a little stronger. I don't know. Might just be me. Definitely had our fair share of these Snatcher dudes. And I'm kind of under the impression... Oh, boy. No. I'm kind of under the impression that the way this works, now that I know there's also those other chalices, like the Hinter Tomb and Lauren or whatever, is that it kind of operates in that each one has its own pool of enemies and just the different difficulties. Why was I moving so slow there for a minute? But yeah, the different difficulties are just there to indicate how strong said enemies are. So it's like, once I get whatever comes after the central chalice for Pthumeru, I go to the next one, and it'll be its own layout again, but it'll be basically the same enemies. That being said, I didn't encounter any big pigs in the original one, but I did in the root one, so I'm sure there's still some variance. Hard to say for certain, but that's just the vibe I'm kind of getting, because every single one of these has had, you know, these like red zombie things, the people that summon them sometimes, and the big unique ogre types, those watchmen things. And they so far seem to be unique. Hello. I also couldn't help but notice that the root chalice didn't have any notes or specters, whereas, you know, the regular one does, which, again, just further lends credence that, yeah, this is not randomly generated. And I remember they were in... I was kind of confused as to why they were there. Here's the exit. When I went into it the first time, the original one, since I was under the impression that all chalice dungeons were procedurally generated. So it's good to just kind of have a bit more understanding on how these work. And I'm just going to say right now, I'm not going to guarantee that I'm going to be going through every single chalice dungeon throughout this. But I'll do what I can. That's all I can really say to that. Okay, I don't like how often I am getting things throwing fire at me. I just want this to... Fine! Jeez! Alright, let's go back to Nitrous. I gotta say, I really like this weapon. It feels like, I mean, like I was using it a lot in this, and it's like, it definitely does do a little bit more damage, or DPS rather, than the Greatsword, if only because of how quick it can attack. The main reason I would need the Greatsword is for either big enemies to help stagger them, or just large groups of enemies to hit multiples at once. Otherwise, I think this is definitely my go-to default for just standard stuff. And of course, sometimes bosses, even. Like, I'm feeling better and better about my odds of fighting Rom at this point. But I still think that once I'm done with this Pthumeru stuff for now, like, after this Chalice dungeon, the next thing I'm going to do is definitely go back to the lecture building. And my reason for that... Wait, did I seriously just loop back to where the boss room is? I did. Doggone it. But my reason for wanting to go back to the lecture building is simply that, from what I can tell, the Nightmare Frontier is where that branch is meant to continue. And the lecture building itself wasn't really that big of a challenge, but it's obvious there was some stuff there that I never actually, like, explored or uncovered. Like, there's more to that particular part. And I want to take a look at it and just, you know, clear it out. So once I do that and verify there's nothing else in that branch besides the Nightmare Frontier, I'll probably go to Rom at that point. And then, whether I beat Rom or decide he's still a little out of my league, that's when I'm going to check out Quiversee. I was wondering how long it would take for me to get murdered. I should have switched to the sword for him. I don't know why. Those guys have been giving me more trouble than they did the first time I went into Pthumeru. It is very easy to get lost in these tunnels. Okay. Yee! Where did you even come from? I am not in the mood to hunt down another summoner. Alright. You, big boy. Sword to the face! Not my face, your face! There we go. I knew you had it in ya. Because that's where I stuck the blade. Okay. Back to where the boss is. I wonder what it could be. Alright, let's see what boss number 1 of Central Pthumeru is. Gotta go down the stairs first. Through the second doors. It's the beast-possessed soul. Ooh! I kinda dig this creature. Look at him, he's like a big fire-breathing goat man. Alright. So far, he's, not too bad. Let's charge my sword with some magic, shall we? I failed my jump attack. Okay, no, I'm playing too risky. I'm playing too risky. I gotta heal. I gotta heal. There we go. Alright. He's not too dangerous, but he does hit hard. He's also a bit on the dodgy side. Alright, come on, big guy. Yeah, it seems like every time I hit him with the jumping attack, he always backs away and I try to strike him again, so... Yeah, I have to try and hit him when he's recovering from trying to hit me. And not while he's trying to hit me, and thus getting hit myself. Unless it's like that. Then it's fine, because I was behind him. Yeah, so far this isn't too bad. And my thing wore off. You know what, let's try hitting him with a Tonitrus Strike. Oh, you like us a fire? Okay, the nitrous hits pretty hard, as I expected, but the lack of reach and stagger led to my death. Okay, lesson learned. When I got a working strategy, don't try and botch it at the last minute. The sword works. Roll with it. Woo! I do want to get better at fighting things like this with a weapon more like to nitrous, I will admit, but again, don't... If it ain't broke, don't fix it, as they say. That was pretty broke. Yeah, maybe I will give Nitrous a shot this next attempt. Goat Demon, take 3! This time, I'm going with the mace. Alright, what are you doing with that fire? Come on. I'll strike my mace like a match and make lightning! I didn't even get a chance to hit him. Okay, once again, first I gotta get my things. There they are. Okay, strike the mace. Strike the beast. Yeah, look at that damage. It racked up way faster than with the sword. That's why I want to use it. That right there. And the jumping strike still gives me a bit of stagger. Not as much reach, granted, but the stagger is more important. Alright, activate the mace, get in a couple of hits, and run away before I die. Alright, what are you gonna do? What you gonna do? Oh, you's gonna shoot fire. Right in my face. Whoo! Alright. Fire! Strike! Dang, I was hoping to get an extra hit. I keep underestimating how many attacks your sequence has. It seems to vary, and I'm not good at reading it. But then again, I haven't fought you that much. And I shan't fight you much more now. Okay, got some bloodstone shards, got another gemstone, not too shabby. Light the lamp and move along. Down to the next layer of Central Pthumeru. Yep. Oh, this one actually has a side path. Let's see if this follows the trend that I was discussing in, actually, before I go that way, let me open this door and light the lamp. That way, if I die, I respawn here instead of up there and have to wait on the elevator every time. Or just forget about the elevator and fall to my death, and thus lose all my echoes. That would suck. This is a very overgrown path. Let me see what those notes say. Beware of poison. Oh, thanks for the warning, actually. Scorpions with poison bulb stingers. Those are actually kind of cool and really terrifying. Oh, and it's the bad poison, too. It's the red kind. No red poison. Go away. Yeah, there we go. Oh, and they explode when they die. Got it. That's what that looks like to me. Yeah, no, I don't want to take that chance. I'll just take the dirty gemstone and, yeah. So, wait, is there anything else in here? Is this where I came in? Does this say beware of poison? Beware of poison, yes, this is where I came in. Aha! A door! But what lies beyond, I know not. It is a very strange room with more of these. These guys are tanky. Like, they take 4 hits from this thing. I'm willing to bet my whip would be more efficient against them. That just happened. That was loud. Any way that I can get up there and stop the noisemaker from doing that again? Doesn't seem to be much I can do in here. Oh, it's a rat! And now it's dead. Well, what? Ambush waits ahead. The sky and the cosmos are one. How poetic. Think I didn't see you. What are you? I see you, but I don't understand you. I think I'm looking at some kind of ooze. Made of people. Yeah, that was delightful. That was just charming all around. Let's climb this ladder. This should get me up on the top layer of that other room. Provided there is a path to it. Seems there is. Ambush beast waits ahead, huh? Yeah, I don't know about beast, but definitely ambush. Ahead and behind. Blood vials. Nice. I used a bunch of those fighting the goat. It's nice to get some back. There is indeed treasure here. And this treasure is Ritual Blood 3 times 3. I don't have use for Ritual Blood 3 yet. But if I had to guess, I will gain access to a chalice that would use such a thing by the end of this place. I'm also going to notice that those snatch dudes, the guys with the bags, they seem to be really good sources of ritual bloods in these dungeons. Because, I'm not kidding, in Central Pthumeru, almost every Ritual Blood 2 I got came from one of them. I think I only got 3 that weren't, and 2 of them were from a treasure chest. So, those are very good enemies to search for. Hello. This is interesting. Okay, well, there's a ladder over here. Is there a way to lower that bridge? I've never encountered anything quite like that in this game yet. Operate device. Lower the bridge. Sure enough! But before I go across the drawbridge, what's in here? I just... Ah! Nope, 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 nope. Kill them all! Heal, please. Heal, please. Thank you. That's a big guy! Well, I found out how to get to the top of this room. Phew. Okay. I need to get back up there. Man, I forget which way leads where from here. Is this where I came from? I don't know. I think so. Yeah, this is the circular room. The one that looks kind of like the Goat Man's arena now that I think about it. So, this is the exit I want. Yeah, this is where I fought the blood and bone ooze. And now I need to go back up. And, yeah, another thing I've definitely learned. Anytime there's a big guy, it means one of 2 things. It means there's either a switch, or there's treasure. At least I'm keeping a steady supply of blood vials and echoes. I can level up again. And, in fact, I probably will once I get back to where the lamp is. But, I need to get through all this first. Oh, wow, you were on the brink of death, buddy. Now, where is the big guy? Did he stay in his room? I'm willing to bet he did, because I doubt he could fit. Yep, there he is. Hey, big guy. I see you guarding that treasure chest. That's more like a treasure coffin. Woo! Barely saw that guy coming up behind me. Yoink! Got him. Okay. Now, where is that? Yeah, you're right there. You're right in front of me. I couldn't see you from a distance. You just blended with the background. Shouldn't do that. There we go. Alright, they're all dead. Except for you. There. Now they're all dead. And my prize? A Hintertomb chalice. Ooh. So this uses Ritual Blood 2s and the Bloodshot Eyeball. Chalice that breaks a labyrinth seal. Hintertombs are the peripheral catacombs of the old underground labyrinth. To this day, the Watchers continue to expand the Hintertombs, unceremonious catacombs filled with graves and death. Huh. So I'm noticing that both of these are just referring to the old labyrinth. I'm beginning to think that these chalice dungeons are like one singular structure in terms of the lore of it. And like when I say them, I'm like meaning like Pthumeru and Hintertomb and potentially even the other ones that I don't have yet. Just based on its description, that's the vibe I'm getting. Nothing but bonfires here. Huh. Neat. Just a bunch of torches at the top of the room. Beware of common sense. My common sense says turn out all the lights. But, shoot, I lost my train of thought. Where was I going with that? I don't know where I was going with that. I'm not gonna lie. I completely lost my train of thought. I had a thought regarding, like, the connectivity of the Hintertomb and Pthumeru and other chalices, potentially. And I lost it because of those torches. I blame those torches for my attention span just cutting in half out of nowhere. On a side note, I did at least confirm what I wanted to confirm. Those side doors are going to always lead to side treasures. So, that being said, I'm very glad I went there because I got another chalice. While I'm here, let us level up. Gain more strength. I need 8 more to be able to use that cannon. And I'm going to get access to that cannon. It's going to be worth it. It has to be worth it. It better be worth it. That's for darn sure. It had better be worth it for all this investment. But, you know, no matter what, the strength is useful. Especially when I'm using the Ludwig sword. Honestly, once I get my strength high enough to actually use the dang cannon, I'm probably going to start pumping up my arcane again, because I think that'll impact my Tonitrus's lightning damage. Honestly, if I was smart, I would verify that and then start pumping that up now, since that damage is supposedly good against Rom. I mean, the bolt paper definitely made a difference in damage. So, I'm assuming that that is the case. I also had another thought about that, and again, this kind of came up as a result of my editing. Is that when I was going over that footage, and I took a look at when I went to use the flame sprayer, I couldn't help but notice that sometimes it wouldn't do much, and sometimes it would do a ton. At the time, I thought it was because of the summon I had, whatever his name, Damien, I think? What was his name? Is there seriously nowhere to go from this room? It was just for him? That's a disappointment. But anyways, at first I thought it was from him. But then I noticed, later on in that, in that same fight, or it might have been a different attempt at that fight, but point is, I noticed at some point in the same video that attacking the spiders and subsequently Rom from the face dealt much less damage than attacking from the side or back. The heck just happened? I wasn't that low in health, was I?